My Friday chess stream here on Lead Chess and Twitch. Alright guys, we are back. It's been a long time. Sorry for the late start. It was a crazy day today. I've been basically working nonstop since like 8:30 this morning. What's up, Mr. Coffee? Acerbate, Bob. Acerbate just cheered 100. Who else is here? We saw someone on sound. Earlier I thought I saw someone on sound, but maybe... Yeah, he was here. Are we back streaming today? And he donated 1 bit. Mr. Coffee Band, Bottom Heavy Soccer Mom. Better to be safe than sorry, Mr. Coffee. Good to see you. Good to have you back. Bob, that must be one of Bob's new creations. Sounds like right up Bob's alley. What's up, Bob? Mr. Coffee, great to have you back, man. All of you guys, Acerbate, my most faithful friends. I have been away too long. Have not done any chess until today. Monday through Thursday were entirely chess free. Can you imagine? What kind of chess player goes 4 days with no chess at all? Man, it's kind of scary. But my mother passed away in April. We had the burial for her on Tuesday. So I made a little getaway for the family for a couple days. That's what I've been doing. Not bad though. Managed to combine some vacation with necessary things. I've got Supreme XD challenged me to 5+3. Yeah. Situation took a long time to resolve. My mom passed away overseas, so I didn't want to bury her in a foreign country. All right, what's up, Mr. Coffee? Pleasant discussion. But I like to be upfront with you guys about what I'm doing with my free time when I'm not streaming. I would not abandon you guys without a good reason. I managed to sneak in a whale watching trip on Wednesday with my family, which was fun. My son got seasick, so that wasn't good for him, but everybody else enjoyed it. Yep, it was good. I'm working on my tan. Didn't really get to the beach though. So only one challenge, guys. Today is Friday. It's Fast Friday. We're taking challenges 5+3 casual. That's the deal. We saw 10 whales. It's like 5 humpback whales, 2 fin whales, and 3 minke whales. Different sorts of whales. What's up, Warnaki? Greetings. Supreme XD. So it looks like I've got one challenge from a player who's rated 2158. This is a rough way to break in when I haven't played in 4 days. I was teaching today. No strange openings, Supreme XD. That's usually on Wednesdays, but I'm not doing the Wednesday streams for the summer. So I'll probably get back to that when I get back to Budapest in the foreseeable future, sometime in the fall. Right now I'm only streaming 5 days a week, so there's no Wednesday streams. That's when I was doing weird Wednesdays. Just normal openings, 5+3. All right, I'm going to go ahead and take this challenge. I was hoping for a 1500. But Supreme XD is 2158. This is going to be a kind of tough game. I have not played a game in 4 days. Actually, today's Friday. My last stream was Sunday, so you do the math. You do the math, guys. All right, I got to play fast, 5+3. Bob's like 500, welcome back donation. I gotta update my Skype, yeah, whatever. I've got to update my my Twitch. I don't know how that becomes Skype. I had a donation from someone and it's not registering. I think my internet might be severely lagging. Wow, Bob just donated 500. Wow, Bob. Bob's the bid leader for the week, ahead of Astrobate, who donated 100, and someone on Sound who donated 1. And Jim is here. We're back. I will not abandon you guys for at least a month or so. Promise. I feel like I've got lag, though. Saji looks like Wizard. Oh, the Wizard. You gave me a Wizard? I missed it. I wasn't looking. Wizard hat or something? I thought I just naturally looked like Wizard. Man. What's up, Fuchsia? Warnaki. We're back. We're good to go. I scrounged up half a coffee. It's the best I could do. It's been a really tough day trying to catch up on everything that I missed. Smyslav's knight a3. Very strange move here. I was saving this for Nefedov. I have a strange headache momentarily. Alright, hopefully that's going to go away. Double Mubot. Well, Esterman did a Harvard Square stream. Crazy. Phew. Live stream. I could do a live stream from the beach. No, that's hard to do. No good internet. Okay, a5. Interesting. The first time I saw this move, knight a3, I thought that's just absurd. But it's actually probably not that bad. I don't have time to check in the book and see if a5 is the right move. I have a momentary headache. This will stop, though. I had a very healthy diet today of Pop-Tarts and frozen burritos. That's gotta be good for you. Basically, the most artificial food man can eat. Okay, knight a6 copying me. How dare you copy my bad knight maneuver? I love the Pop-Tarts in the morning when I don't have time to cook a normal breakfast. It takes literally 3 minutes. I actually burned them. The toaster oven didn't go off. It's the cheap toaster oven. And sometimes it gets stuck in the alarm. You know, the bell doesn't ring and it just keeps cooking the Pop-Tarts. Pop-Tarts that are burned are not really tasty. But you gotta do what you gotta do when you don't have time. Alright. Welcome everybody to my stream. Pop-Tarts and burritos. Get all 4 food groups. I don't know, man. Definitely not healthy to eat Pop-Tarts and burritos. But that's how busy my day was today. Could not even have 5 minutes to eat a normal food. Bishop e6. There's this noise outside and I keep thinking it's in the house. Alright. I've been looking around thinking it was like an alarm or something, but I think it's just something outside. Guys, we're back. We are back, and we're going to be streaming Sunday with the Sunday Simul, and then next week, hopefully getting back to the normal weekly schedule. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday. Could he have taken on c4 last move? I guess I could just play rook d1 and delay the recapture on c4. I had not worked that out in advance though, so it's kind of lucky for me. Is he actually daring to consider c5 here? Quite a double-edged idea. Now, this is a classic idea. Like, I'm trapped now. I'm trapped. Eternally protecting my... Committed to eternal protection of a2. That's what Yevgeny Sveshnikov did to me. Once in a c3 Sicilian, he put his knight on b5 with my knight on a6, and that was the end of it. I was never able to get my knight off of the stupid, you know, square, and my rook off of the stupid square where it's like protecting the a2 pawn. 10 gains to be satisfied? Or Pop-Tarts? What are we talking about? You need to eat 4 of them to get full. I'm good with 2. You know, it's the one that can be kind of not satisfying. When you buy a, you know, you open one of those bags of 2 Pop-Tarts and you eat just 1 out of 2. That can be kind of disappointing, I think. Alright, so we're good. This is a problem, though. So I think what we're going to do is reinforce this pawn on c4 and reinforce my a2 pawn by putting the queen there on b2 and get it on the diagonal with the king on g7. The a5 is on the board. True that. They call me Mini Botvinnik. I did a lecture today on the return match, my first return match, 1961. Tal versus Botvinnik. Game analysis. Knight b4, I hate you. So, wow, what if I take it and play like knight c2? No. Man, this is irritating. Irritating. I am unhappy with this move. It feels that I wasted a move. And become an unabashed fan of said GM. Supreme came out of nowhere to claim the strongest viewer title. Well, strongest viewer momentarily. Any case, I don't know about. I don't think it's of all time. 2298 in Bullet though. It's pretty impressive. It's got to be conspiracy theories abounding, but Supreme has played us before. I think Bob has long-term memory issues. Nothing wrong with that, though. I mean, a lot of people do. I've been dealing with my mother's Alzheimer's last year. I mean, nothing wrong with nothing to be ashamed of. I've certainly got my memory issues, too. But somewhat concerning at your age, Bob. Queen d6. No, I mean... There are other strong viewers, of course. Knight b1. I refuse to move my knight to b1. As you can see, I'm also fighting against this automatic c5. Fight against complicity in automatically playing c5. Being complicit. Automatically playing c5. Blobix might be stronger. Yeah, Blobix plays very strong. I mean, I'm legitimately scared now. Not happy with this. What is going on? Took with a pawn. Did you see this calculation coming? Wow. Did I play Supreme the other day and they played the Simul on Sunday? I think the last time I played them was in the Simul on Sunday. It was a draw, but I was really thinking I was going to lose. Opposite color bishops and rooks. And Supreme kind of let me draw without really testing me. Practical player. Full of nasty chemicals. What are we talking about? Pop-Tarts. Toaster Tarts. Knockoff Pop-Tarts. I'm not sure that's something you want to be skipping on. The fake Pop-Tarts. Look at this in-between move. Wow. Greed is good, I was told. I believe in greed when it comes to central pawns. In other cases, generally not. If it's central, I'll have me a pawn. I'm going to have me a beer. That meme is getting kind of old now. Blunder. Plundering and blunders. He missed it. Six what, Jim? Anita is here. Wait, what happened? I did not notice Anita. What's up? Maybe King E1 is more accurate. Night in games. Pawn up night in games are my specialty. Oh, blunders are my specialty. It's like the worst move. We're both blundering. He missed knight c5 there. Played knight d2 instead. Major inaccuracy. This is not a great game. Sorry, guys. Both sides misplaying the endgame. Missing significant moves. Alright, no rematch. That was my first game in 5 days. Wasn't perfect. Okay. So he just missed like a draw like right at the end. It looked like terrible blunder. Here, knight c5. How do I win this after knight c5? Computer thinks I'm still pawn up. Yeah, maybe it's right. Okay, so knight c5, king f3. I'm still a pawn up. Still good chances to win. Okay, guys, we got 3 challenges. God, I forgot I'm 2 pawns up. Not that easy. Save a Dog, Blubix, and Skaveningen. Skaveningen, who we haven't seen. Speaking of strong players, he already beat by rating Supreme XD. Skaveningen, we haven't seen it forever. Alright, we've got Hate Mail, Save a Dog, Blobix, and Skaveningen. Let's go, guys. Save a Dog, the strongest 1500 in the world. He says skip me now. Alright. We'll skip you for now. That's alright. Now I've got Blobix and Skaveningen. Just 2150, 2200. Just Master Strength players, please. I'm going to play Bob first. Alright, you guys are subscribers, but it's Friday, so I'm supposed to take, you know, the challenges in order. All of you guys are subscribers, but these guys are too strong. I'm not even warmed up yet. Blobik's been brutalizing me lately. He's +2 out of our last stretch of 7 games. The white is better. I'm a little bit better than white. Cooking burritos and Pop-Tarts. Delicious. No. Preservatives. No preservatives or other artificial ingredients in those things. Blobix, are you with us? More precise accents. I would hope so. Alright. Knight f3, d5. Here we go. I just played g3 last game. Let's play something safe. Must stick to principal chat. Yeah, what's up? So, I mean, Scandinavian is like the hardest word in the language that we use here in the chat. I mean, I don't know. I thought I knew how to pronounce it, but then when I try to pronounce it, it's still wrong. So no matter what I do, well, I mean, I think that it just takes time to learn pronunciations of things. 39-year-old I am is more likely than a 30-year-old I am to, like, I don't know how old he is, but to pronounce things correctly. But not always. I realize that's not the only consideration. A lot of ignorant older people. Bishop to b5, just to get out of the mainstream here. Ask the Dutch person how to pronounce it. Where's Nils when we need him? He'll probably show up. We got Scheveningen. I mean, a 22100s and a 2200. Although Blobix is underrated, he should definitely be 2200. I'm playing the Nimzo, but he hasn't played c5, so it's hard to classify this opening. Actually, it's a French reversed. No, it's a Nimzo reversed. No. What do you call it exactly? Went through the chess insights on the site and interesting stuff. When I checked average center pawn loss in rapid by move time, it appears the longer I think, the higher the center pawn loss. Wow, that's cool. Yeah, no, you can totally learn a lot. My chess insights on Lee chess would be interesting. Yeah, that's a good idea. Long think, wrong think. That's what Jakob Attila, Hungarian IM, said to me when I blundered 2 years ago. On the move, I thought about the longest, like the whole game. And maybe he made a blunder. Both of us made blunders. Actually, he blundered on his longest think, and I told the analogy that it's not really an analogy, but a story. Arthur Bisguyer, longtime old school American grandmaster, he claimed that he would almost always play the first move he saw in tournament games. I don't think that's standard, though. I think that's the exception for a player at the GM level rather than the rule. But some players are much more intuitive than others. I mean, obviously, you know, you'd be a great rapid player if that's what you do. Scheveningen, I'm not surprised about the Najdorf. I think the problem that you're running into there is the reason why I never played the Najdorf in the first place. Is that, like, everybody knows the theory. It's kind of like the Yugoslav attack of the Sicilian Dragon. That's my whole reason for playing more offbeat openings in general. I think I do better, at least in faster time controls, with the offbeat openings. But the openings like the Najdorf are literally the most theoretical openings in the world. One of the most theoretical openings in the world. Not surprised by that. Bob's first instinct is always wrong. Najdorf. Play like Nimzovich. Nimsovich. My last instinct is to resign, usually. For some people, it's their first instinct. Basically, a Nimza where he hasn't played c5, but he doesn't really have anything to show for it. For that lack of c5. I mean, what has he gotten instead? Bishop e8. I feel like I just missed something like popped up. It looked like something popped up on the stream. Guess I'm just hallucinating. Worked a little too much today, I think. Okay, so Blobix's instinct here, very masterful. I mean, there's a famous game, Nimzovich versus Rubinstein, where basically Rubinstein plays like Bishop e8. Do you have time for that or not? You know, judging that kind of thing is tricky. Doubling the pawns. This is not a one-way street, though. I took his bad bishop. Thanks, Asterbait. Took his bad bishop in the process here. Generally, I feel safer against Blobix in closed positions. He's very good at attacking and calculation. Very good. Kind of straightforward. He's good all around, but especially good, I find, in like attacking formations and e4, e5, or e4, just e4 positions. Mostly when he's white, he's especially scary. And some players more than others, it makes a difference what color they are. I am a little concerned, though, now about the dark squares and this diagonal. Judgment Day. It's a crazy looking move. Terminator Judgment Day. Just because. I mean, I could have played like d4 there, probably. I'm unimpressed by my play. I don't know about you guys. Well, I think d4 was okay, you know? It was okay. But I'm sure that he's equalized for like c5. He's probably fine here too. I know I'm underwhelmed by my own play. But there's still a hope that my pawn structure... While Blobix is not bad at the endgame, I don't think he specializes in endgames. He doesn't seem as comfortable as me in the endgame. I don't think I specialize in them too, but after 40 years, you know, however long it's been, 39. So I learned chess when I hatched. I haven't been playing chess that long. I'm starting to exaggerate. How long I've been playing chess. So e4, more weaknesses. I like the way he's played this. Queen d6, excellent move. Threatening f5, threatening to just kind of take me out. I'm underwhelmed by my own game. I've got weaknesses, you know, I think they're more significant than black's in a sense. That a5 move, natural. Yeah, I don't want that to happen, but that's more weaknesses now. Every pawn move weakens your position. A5, A4. So when did this obsession, Warnaki, with A5 begin? Eat when the lemon in my beer floats on the top. Very irritating. G6. Got Blubbix in the dangerous middle game scenario. I want to get him in the end game where there's probably less tactics for him. F5, pawn takes pawn. I got very little counterplay here against the center. Really like the way he's done this. Very solid. Damn. Definitely taking the initiative. Very aggressive. F5. Just no counterplay for me. Finally, something. Black is fine, though. We don't want his knight entering into f4 or getting to d5. Tactics. He's setting up tactics. Just like that. Please don't have any tricks. He timed out. I mean, he might still be fine. His weaknesses started to be relevant, you know, on g5 and a5. So I have the threat of queen d2, and curious after g4, though. Looks like he didn't react to g4 necessarily the best way. It's blockade. Apparently not good to give up that f4 pawn. There are so many points in this game where black was probably better. Thanks for the game, Blubix. We were a little lucky there. Skivening has challenged me to 5+5, which would normally, you know, he was here for my stream like 3 years ago. Raid. Rad one. Rad one, is that related to Raid? You alerted me to Rad one. Oh, you're saying Rook AD1. I thought Bob was saying Raid. Okay, never mind. All right, Skivening, and what's up? I thought you misspelled Raid. Just there's no Raid. D4. Not allowing Najdorf, the subtle planting of the idea that he would like to play the Najdorf in my mind was enough for me. I haven't played chess all week, so I don't feel like playing the white side of a... I don't feel like playing the white side of a Sicilian Najdorf today. Maybe like on Sunday or Monday after I've gotten back into the swing of things a little bit. Oh no, the exchange, sorry, the, whatever it is. Oh man, this is worse than the Najdorf Jeez, I don't have much here, so I'm glad he played h6. Actually, I like bishop h4 better, but I don't know the theory well enough for that line. So we're just going to play the ultra lame bishop takes f6, which is the Moscow variation I was trying to remember. Semi-Slav Moscow variation. So Scheveningen basically playing two of the sharpest openings the black you can play. The Najdorf Sicilian and the Semi-Slav against d4. That's like the sharpest repertoire you can have, or one of them. Semi-Slav positions in d4, d5 can be as complicated or more complicated. I have 2 copies of ECOD sitting in front of me on my shelf. And I'll never forget the friend of mine studying very many variations of that encyclopedia on the Semi-Slav. Unusual move order. Usually black plays knight d7 first. I don't know that there's any way to take advantage of g6. You sent me a message a couple weeks back. Alright, thanks for reminding me. I'm not good with Lee Chess messages. Actually, I'm just downright bad with Lee Chess messages. So if you guys do contact me, please don't be hurt if I don't answer your Lee Chess messages. I lose them all the time. If anybody really wants to contact me about lessons or important stuff, then you're better off sending me an email. Alright, so Bob, I will make a note to get back to you. Sorry about that. But I like lose touch with all my Lee Chess messages. Don't really like the messaging system here. Just easy for them to get bunched up and just forget about them. It's not my fault, basically. It's Lee Chess's fault that I don't answer my messages on Lee Chess. Just to make it clear. Move 11 subscribed to tier 1. Move 11 has subscribed for 26 months. He's currently on a 26-month streak. You can't really complain about the 26-month streak. What do you think? Here's a crazy move. Alright, I'm just going on my own with like an intuitive approach. I'm not sure if I should exchange on d5 or let black exchange on c4, actually. And what constructive moves I can make instead of either of those. Was that you, Bob? Or the actual person? The state of Bob. So if I take on d5, he takes with the e-pawn and then plays bishop f5 to trade my bishop off. That would be sad. Otherwise, black has typical plans of d takes c4 and rook d8. So I'm telling you everything that black can do. Man, I'm kind of regretting this entire setup now. Okay, random ideas are always good. I'll just pretend I'm playing the Stonewall attack. Something like that. Totally random move. He trolled and was banned, obviously. Knight to d7. That would change the calculation slightly. I like this exchange a bit more now, because of bishop f5 not being a direct issue. What's up, guys? I am Will Wolf is a subscriber now. Super Grandmaster. I wish. Super out of practice international master who hasn't played in 4 days. So far doing alright. So here it is, knight b6, great move by Scheveningen. Again, threatening the positional bishop f5. That is a supreme answer. G4 is so extreme. Principled in a weird sort of way. But it probably just loses a pawn, right? G4, Queen H4 check, Queen G3, Queen G3, HG3. No, it's not so simple. Very long variation. Okay, if I castle, he plays bishop f5. And I'm sad because bishop f5 is going to be really, really annoying. What if I were to just do the craziness, the craziest thing ever? Castle and play bishop e2. This seems ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Obviously a bad move. He doesn't have bishop e4, and I'm threatening g4. And still, it's probably not great. My knight on e5, temporarily a good piece. This doesn't look right, though. Very artificial plan. Scheveningen. He has about 33%. Yeah, it took him forever, but he played h5. I mean, h5 is clearly the move. It took him forever to find the captain obvious. h5. I mean, okay, the pawn on h4 could become a weakness. I'm more concerned about my own problems. I'm just worse now. No, he played that. That's a good move, though. Very, very well-trained knight heading to the center. And I'm just admitting my mistake now. I mean, nothing wrong with admitting your mistakes. He's so fast, too. We're not going to see a5, but this opening was a really nice display by Scheveningen. The whole thing. I mean, starting with knight b6. Why not the other rook? He's saving for a5. There it is. And it's been so long since I played him that I forgot. We had many games, like 50 games, but it's like almost 50 games, but I kind of forgot a lot of details about my opponent. Like, was he one of the players who would sometimes play too fast? Not so much, though. I never really thought he was the player who consistently had bad time management. A lot of you guys do. And just because I won the h-pawn doesn't mean that everything's okay. I have a pawn up, but I still have like kind of a deformity in my position based on the backwardness on the e-file. I don't think that that's ever going to really be a good thing. Being a pawn up here, Obviously, if knight takes c3, I had pawn takes c3. And we're covering weaknesses. There were tactics based on bishop takes to e4 I had to watch out for. Now he's anchoring the knight in there. Not yet, but soon. Maybe b3 is a worthwhile move. But he's just going to target the e3 directly. Of course, I have 95 now. Actually, that's looking pretty strong. Maybe it's not, though. Yep. Unfortunately, didn't solve all my problems there with that move. Though to play f6 will block his pressure. We are a pawn up, ladies and gentlemen. Now g4. Stonewall, classic Stonewall Dutch. I'd rather not block my own pawn. All right, still not over. Knight e4 check. Ye old knight e4 check. Knight e4 check. Time advantage is starting to be really big. You had that. Usurping control of these squares. Even though he's got all his pawns on pretty much the right color, things are not so simple. Right, just 95. Not the only move, though. I mean, I could have had knight g5. I had no time to think, really. It's hard when you have a lot of choices. Some of the worst games I've ever lost were because I had a good position with too many options. Sometimes it's better just to have one option, essentially. Easier to play. This is a great move, a heads-up move by my opponent. That was not what I wanted to do. We lost the pawn back. He's got the initiative. We have some stuff. Man, Time Master. He's certainly the Time Master. Rather difficult to improve my position now that I'm not up a pawn any longer. The F file was way too dangerous there. I could have played rook h7 check first as well. Wow. e4 potentially. Still have a monster knight there. His king looks unsafe. Somehow I have more time than he does now. Which is better? H5 is a terrible threat. He's got answers for that. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Alright, rook d8 doesn't work. Rook d7 doesn't work. Damn it. Alright, finally. Kind of collapsing here. That's a good practical move. And I managed to almost do it. Wow. I want his knight on a bad square, but he's not letting me make his knight go to a bad square. So this is a tactical position that should be winning. I mean, obviously tricky. We know where he comes up with the tricky moves like this. He's not dead yet. Not dead yet. Alright. Now he's probably dead. Or not. Oh my god. Wow, that's stupid. That's pretty funny, man. All right, good one. We'll make him run out of time. Nah, it's the easy draw, right? We've never had this on my stream. Never had to try to mate with the good old 2 knights versus king. It's an easy win, not. Just for entertainment value. You can play it to the 50 move rule. The 50 move rule. Obviously, I'm making progress here. Now we have a little issue. See, this is the problem. You get to this position. Now I'm screwed. I have to let him out. No way to make progress. He didn't make a run for it. I'm acting like it's like a bishop and knight, mate. Obvious 2 knights mate here. Easy. And again, we can't make progress. Alright. Maybe it's a draw. It's embarrassing. Well, that was an epic game. 108 moves. I'm a good sport. Alright. Mr. Slow Hand Grind. Pi Day, Rubens C3. Rubens, 1866. Okay, he's got an established rating. Good. So all these challenges are acceptable. Whoops. Anyway, I feel bad about that. That was embarrassing. Just when you guys said it was over. Stockfish said made in 70. Is that right? He blundered into a made in 70? Like, seriously? I'm not sure Stockfish knows what it's talking about there. Now I'm gonna like forget that I have Auto Queen turned off. I know in some key game. Alright. We'll play our anti-summon on sound. I'm very trusting. And I'm out of beer and coffee. We're a little shortchanged with the coffee today. I think someone stole some of my coffee. I think really I just drank it and I forgot. Mr. Coffee. Alright guys, we got an hour and a half left in the stream. I am going to be back on Sunday. Normal schedule simul. 5:30 p.m. on Sunday night. I had to jam a lot of my stuff that I canceled this week into today. So I had a crazy day with like a million things nonstop. So I'm not quite 100% here. Functioning at 75. In Hungarian, it's called százalék. Százalék. Percent. The eBay. Check out my eBay offerings. All right. trying to stay awake. Move 11. Jesse Carr was saying in his last stream how the Smith Morra is the opening that makes the most people angry. That's probably the second most for me, like the London system, just because it's annoying. Jesse Carr strikes me as the kind of person who loves things like the London system, so I could see how that wouldn't really be the case. He wouldn't understand or identify with that. He likes playing like the exchange variation of the Slav, like he gets into that. So really technical, kind of boring things I think Jesse likes. But he's probably right. You know, objectively, the Smith Morra, one of the most hated openings. I think that's why Esterman plays it, just because he wanted to be like go against the grain of society or something. But I appreciate that. But it's just a gambit. I mean, white just gets compensation for a sacrificed pawn, you know? I mean, if you're black and the opponent's willing to give you a pawn, and, you know, he's got some compensation for it, that's not a bad deal, you know? I mean, I think that most professional grandmasters basically don't really respect the Smith Morra. It's like there's so many better things for white to do that we're happy to see the Smith Morra played. I don't hate it. I think that most of my career I welcomed it, you know. Unfortunately, the stronger players I played have generally drawn when they played it against me. But it's, you know, it's an underrated system because it's a coffee house. It's always been labeled as a coffee house opening, and therefore, like, Asserman has been successful with it, and some other people, because I think that until a certain point it was like just treated as totally disrespected. It's not that bad, you know. It's better than its reputation, but it's still not great. And he's trying to like force it to work to some degree. So this variation I haven't seen in a while. We used to get this a lot, actually. Here I have an interesting debate with myself about. I would never subject this position necessarily to deep analysis, but I'm wondering, is it better to play e6 or bishop e6? Because I've tried both of these moves. And I think there's another move here that's not even tried. What was it again? What else could there be? Oh yeah, g6. This was Stockfish. I think Stockfish actually recommended g6. I've never tried it, so I'm playing this for the first time. Makes it great again. Rook d1. Now it's like a delayed bishop e6, effectively, which is fine. Should be fine. Make the Smith Morra great again. Conservative opening. Your favorite opening is Scotch. Yeah, well, the Scotch is a great opening because it forces open positions. This move looks like a mistake in that you're trading pieces in a gambit style opening. Nevertheless, white is active here, so it's not without venom. Looks like I should just play bishop g7. Get developed. Your opponent called you a dirty worm. I was having a brief conversation with someone today about some chess site where they post games, a typical online live game site, and I can't stand seeing the ridiculous things that people put in the commentary. Besides just being bad, the general commentary about like top level games is awful, and people put like unrelated stuff about their political views, which is just ridiculous. But it's horrible the way that people talk trash and send you negative comments. I would just turn chat off or just ban them. Okay, so what's going on here? Gain a key tempo on the bishop on f4, and we're out. We're out of here with a pawn up. How much compensation does white have? Some. Still, unbelievably. He's not even playing like the recommended way for white in this line. Isolated D-Rook. Yeah. He still managed to stay active enough to have like a reliable, or a reasonable, I want to say, not reliable, reasonable amount of compensation for a sacrifice pawn. I wouldn't want to be like white against Karpov, because an extra pawn in a situation like this is like unforgiving. I'm thinking of just taking his knight on e5. It's that strong. This is exactly what white does not want in a Mora, said a Mora player. Alright, that's knight. That knight is just monstrous. That's gone. Gone. F6. Trade a set of pieces if I can. And try to grind him down in a pawn up endgame. I think that's a pretty reasonable path here. Right. There was definitely more than one Karpov, but only one really high rated Karpov. Okay, f4 looks like a serious error. It does kind of abandon white square control. I'm up a pawn here, but no guaranteed win. I'm not sure f5 is the greatest move, actually. Who is this guy? Have I played him before? I did, apparently. Don't remember the other game. Now we grab this pawn on h2. The cost of allowing some invasion. Some sort of minor invasion. Knight f1, king h6, knight takes g3. That was not on the radar. He certainly is fast, and the increment doesn't seem to bother him. I thought there, like king f6, the most problematic move, but life is not so easy. With two connected passed pawns, I really should be able to make progress here. Not sure my last move was necessarily the best, though. Take more pawns. Only two passed pawns up. Hard to use with the knight, though. I think we got him now. King f8. Why not king g8? All right. So the opening was interesting for those of you who are Mora fans. I mean, I've had this position like a million times, and this is like the first time when I've played g6. Always played bishop e6 and e6, but check out the engine, right? This is a sort of standard side variation that technically isn't the best for white, that I get all the time. But when you analyze it with the engine, you'll see g6 is up there as one of the top moves. It has not been tried. I have not analyzed it recently with the new version of Stockfish at a depth, but I wanted to give this a shot. G6 looks like an interesting move. All right. Anyway, on to the next thing. Paide, another strong player. Paide, Rubens, Luana, and Summon on Sound. 5+3 casual, please. Whew. All right, I'm playing my first E4. Five days without playing chess. I'm feeling like Rossalimo. Paide is not a player who spends a lot of time on one move. Likes to keep the pace kind of fast. This is Fischer-Spassky. This is main line. Fischer-Spassky 92, that is. I don't really study this, so I just play on instinct. Move 11, trying to make jokes. Thank God it's Pi Day. Oh my God, dude. And it is. It's terrible. We should think about banning him from the stream for that joke. It was pretty funny, though. That is kind of humorous. All right, we'll give it to him. Bishop takes c6, deciding to take. Yeah, it wasn't bad, dude. It wasn't bad. I'm not going to ban him from the stream. Move 11 for bad puns is under investigation. Good control of d4 for black here. I don't know, I feel sort of unsure about the way I played this. If h3, e5, maybe d3. See, this is a problem where it would be better if I was playing this opening on a regular basis. I've had a lot better, would have a lot better feel for it. I do have some experience trying to play with black occasionally. Something like b4. Watching occasional teammates play the what's it called, Rossalimo? Trying to make a knight. This looks unimpressive. I'm underwhelmed by my own play again. Okay, if bishop e3... Oh, I could just play b6, first of all. The a3, b4... I don't know, guys. Somehow white's position just doesn't look... impressive. Alright, my teammate Janos Rigo had a game last year. I remember in a Rossalimo where he tried to get in b4 somehow. Made it work, like, tactically. This looks a little crazy, though, frankly. Maybe I should have waited on this. Rigo will just like sack pawns for almost nothing. Totally opposite of my style. This actually looks reasonable though. If pawn takes, now what do I do? Do I play, you know, obviously like knight c4, or do we have something more subtle? Queen a4. Just picking up the pawn quietly. The quiet plan. crazy bird is at it again. Is this move too time consuming for me? Perhaps. I was a little scared to play, like, honestly, in my original plan of knight c4 and knight takes, like, e5. Arsenal's playing more chess than pretty much anyone. You're talking about Arsenal. Where is he? Haven't seen Turkey Farm. Tal's last game was 1992, which is in Lee Chess's time frame. Excuse me? You mean Fuchsia? You mean like time frame in what sense? For searching for games, you mean? Like in the Opening Explorer sense? I'm not sure what you meant. I wasn't sure what you meant by that. Like Lee Chess was around in 1992? It was in its infancy. Well, I mean, sadly, like, pretty much, like, many games are absolutely missing, but the database starts, but that's not true. I mean, I've seen a lot of games pre-1992. Maybe you're more right about 1975, though. That's probably closer to it. But there's, like, no way, like, the World Championship games shouldn't be in there, and other really important major tournaments and stuff. I'm feeling kind of lame about my position now. Okay, I don't think that they can just give me this e5 pawn, though, because I'll just play f4 and keep it. Like f5, knight takes e5, f4, queen b3 check. That's pretty nasty. So it looks like Paiде has a little issue. Like, he can't just ignore this threat. He did, though. More power to him. He just ignored it because that meets the threats of the like discoveries and stuff. Now like rook b1. Actually, rook b1, f5, knight to g5. Again, f5, knight takes e5. Now the f5, knight takes e5 may not work because of f4. How about like an endgame where I'm sacking a piece for 3 pawns? f5, knight g5, f4. f5, knight g5, queen d7, knight e6, queen e6, queen b6, queen b6, rook b6, f4. Wow, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. Okay. Yeah, so c5 hanging will make a difference. That capturing on b6 undermines the c5 pawn. Thus our bishop won't be trapped by f4. The games from 1952, exactly that kind of tournament. But I mean, I don't know the inner workings of the Lee Chess Opening Explorer system, you know. I assumed it was a generic program. I mean, I think that even here, if I just give him the piece, I should have massive pressure. But actually, just taking on b6 is a good move. Taking on b6 is like crushing, isn't it? Everything falls apart. I was originally going to play knight f7 check, but I had second guessed. I second guessed myself here. With probably good reason. Breaking of the pawn structure. Classic Rosalima. It's done. He is not in peak form. You missed king f2, win a rook. No, I didn't miss it. I mean, the thing is, like, if I play knight f7... Oh, like there? Oh, here knight f7 win a queen. No, win a rook. Well, it's good either way. But I was more curious about the previous moment where I decided to take on b6 here. My original plan was to play knight f7 check, but I think I was right not to do that. Yeah, queen b6 is strongest. This wasn't so clear. Rook f7, queen f7, f4. Apparently still strong. But I didn't really, I was a little lazy to calculate that. This is a kind of nice, it's a kind of nice lineup on the 7th rank though. Admittedly, like that looks a little tough for black to defend. Bishop f8, rook d7, ouch. That holds. Not a very pleasant position for black though here. All right, so my limited knowledge of the Roslimo managed to bring a victory. Guys, we have an hour left. Rubens, Luana, Someone on Sound, and this player challenged me to 3+2, but it's a new account and the wrong time control. I'm not really playing people with like less than 50 games here on Lichess. Okay, Rubens, let's go. Rubens is C23. What is C23, by the way? I have my chess encyclopedia. Let's see. Out of curiosity, I don't know if it has to do with chess, but this is ECOC. Can you see that? C. B. B. ECOC23. Alright, I'm not looking up the game. I'm just curious what this guy's name means. C23. C23 is the bishop's opening. That's interesting. Alright. E4, E5, bishop C4. It's his specialty. With the one problem that he's playing D4. So much for that theory. Good guess. Someone on Sound. The master of the ECO. C23 is a galaxy near Andromeda. And where they eat and drink chess at breakfast. So it's really a galaxy far, far away. If anybody wants to buy a Super 8, Super 8 Star Wars, check out my eBay. Speaking of galaxies far, far away, gotta sell everything. Knight f3. Alright, so this is my own favorite system with white. Bishop g5. Smyslov system. E3. I'm going to go for a6, c6, and b5, which is the flexible pawn structure. I like to use this. Playing against one of my own favorite systems. I have great results with this setup with white. And, I mean, at a point, you know, strong players know what they're doing. But for the most part, when you play an E3-based pawn structure in the classical or in the King's Indian, a lot of players with black don't really have a clue. Even grandmasters, I found, don't really have a clue or a good idea of what to do against these kind of systems. I've had a lot of title players play black not very well against this E3 bishop G5 type of system. People just aren't really well prepared for it. So A3 looks like kind of one of the main moves. In fact, well, I think I had a game where the Armenian Nadanian played knight d2 against me. I had another game against Varuzhin. This guy seems to really know what he's doing here, by the way. It's very unusual to play like an 1800-ish player who plays this system with white. It's more something you see with like lower level masters, maybe at the lowest level. Now, A5 is my normal strategy. Yeah, well, I don't accept challenges from anonymous people with 30 games. Challenge me at the wrong time control, and I certainly don't respond to like provocative dares. Don't care. A5, alright, I've got to stick to my rules. So once you have like 50, 100 games, I mean, I don't mind playing somebody, but I have a kind of minimum of 50 to 100 games. Because certain trolls keep creating new accounts over and over again to play me, and they can pretty easily create an account with like 30 games. So we require a little bit more evidence that you're not said troll. Okay, b5 and c5 here. Tommy Knockers. Today is an a5 game. Thinking about c5, very provocative move here, but it's kind of risky. I don't have much here. I mean, white's really playing a very mature strategic game for 18 under Lee chess. Only no fan. Well, that's great. Okay, a4, rook c8. White's playing this well. Pawn takes pawn. If c5 pawn takes pawn is good. a4 is a strong move too. I mean, maybe I could get my knight to b4. Again, I really like the way the white is playing this. h6 probably a useful move. Let's do that. I don't necessarily want to play g5. All right. Like, spamming the chat is not going to make you a friend either. So, anyway. Bishop takes c6. White square bishop. It's just distracting when people just spam the chat. Bishop h4, queen d7, bishop b5. I'm already getting distracted. Well, he's so good positionally, like he almost has to be like... I thought I played this player before, by the way, which is weird. I must have played someone else with a similar name. We have not played. It's 1,568 games. Very reliable. Some tactics here. Nothing ready. You're kidding me. Fuchsia's just joking, I hope. Is there seriously a Rubin C22? I'm vulnerable to just believing everything I read. Bob certainly knows that. If it was a Twitch name, I would believe you. I just don't accept challenges from people with less than 50 games. I used to set the bar at 100, but I've kind of lowered it in many occasions to like 50. That's where I stand now. You can't trust anybody. And I hate wasting my time playing people who are computers. Really, it's not so much the ego as it is just a massive waste of time. And that's the worst when it's like the last game. Say I have like 15 minutes left in the stream and my last opponent is a computer. It feels like I just literally threw away like 15 minutes of my life for nothing. I'm not going to be around that much longer, you know, sadly. 39 and counting. Okay, knight takes a4 doesn't win material. Knight a4, queen a4, bishop b5, or queen a5. Or does it win material? Knight a4, queen a4, bishop b5, rook b5 does win material. But it does also put me into a pin. That's probably not an issue. Let's take this. Free pawn. I hope. It's convincing. I'm sold too. My queen is, well, my queen was protected. It's not anymore after bishop takes f6. But he can't increase the pressure on the rook with more than one piece. So bishop f6, rook b1. Not a good plan for white, actually. There's a slight issue with back rank mate. Alright. Juicebox is, yeah, Juicebox is good at investigations. He and Bob should team up. Actually, they have before. Timeout's good. I'd like to start with a timeout today. See where that takes us. I mean, I'm kind of happy he didn't trade his bad. The bad hombre on an h4. That's like a London system bishop. May never see the light of day again, unless I like drop my my e7 pawn. My queen is unprotected on the other hand. I have to be careful of that as well. So, next plan. He does not have back rank mate on me. The Thai fish sauce. Man, I wish I knew more about like Thai and Vietnamese food. I know nothing. So knight c3, the tactic that does nothing. The tactic that's not a fork. Basically just a stupid idea to confuse my opponent in time pressure. Does nothing. Strong 1800. Oh, he blundered. Man, if this guy were really strong tactically, he would be a master. I mean, queen c2 there, and I've got nothing. Positionally, he played the whole game master level. Just one tactical mistake overlooking knight e2 check. Queen c2 here. I think it's just equal. In fact, knight c3 was nothing but a cheapo, essentially. I don't see anything after knight c3, queen c2. No continuation. In fact, I think knight c3 was just a bad move. Let's just go back. Yeah, I think that I knew it was a bad move, but I didn't know what else to do. I didn't really want to play knight b6 and trade pieces into an endgame where I'm just barely a pawn up. I didn't really like g5. If you look at the two #1 continuations from the computer here, I looked at both of them, and I felt really unconvinced. g5 is okay, but what does it do? The engine wants to go crazy with g5 and h5. Could also be construed as a weakening. Basically a good game by white and a one-move tactical mistake where he's like equal. It's a good system for white. I can tell you firsthand, very, very solid. Equal a pawn up. Well, yeah. A pawn is not a lot of margin for error. Especially in heavy piece endgames. I wasn't that confident, but my a-pawn felt kind of weak somehow. But yeah, I guess. My bigger concern, Blobby, was the situation when I go knight b6, rook 8 b6. My pieces were very awkwardly placed there. Probably I'm overreacting though. I could just play like triple on the b file It's just hard to promote that isolated pawn, typically. Rook pawns are notoriously drawn, as you know, in many endgames. So I was kind of hoping to keep the knights on the board, essentially. And knights are tricky, as you saw. Anyways, okay, Luana, let's try something different. I'm not sure what I've played against them. They play the acerbate. The acerbate move, knight f3. Acerbate likes to exchange here also, which I don't, really think is as good as knight c3. This is also the acerbate exchange variation. Essentially a queen. We probably had this once before with Luana, but this is nothing other than a queen's gambit exchange variation with a move, an extra move, or a less move. I'm playing the exchange variation down a tempo. A less move. We had the same game already. Blow B, or blobby. Knight f3 is just not a move against counter. Well, it isn't. I mean, what's the difference between knight f3 and knight c3? If you're just going to play knight c3, the next move, it doesn't matter, right? It's just a transposition. I mean, they should play knight c3 on the next move and transpose to the two knights, which is very popular. You believe the Panov is still critical? Well, I mean, the Panov is better than this. I mean, like, definitely. I feel like the Panov is a positional mistake almost, but it's like a positional mistake that I've played myself a lot. All right, so materialism here with queen b6. Anyone want to be greedy? Anybody want to go pawn grabbing? Lobster hunting? I feel like that's just asking for trouble. I think that we had the exact same game before. Now, whatever way I try to win that pawn, I mean, there will be something to answer for. I am just not going to do that. This is probably how I reacted last time. It just feels wrong to go after that pawn. Forced draw against the pawn. Well, the draw variation, as I call it, is not technically forced, Fuchsia, because white can play bishop g5 instead of the two knights out. So knight c3 Panov with bishop g5, I like. Has always been my favorite with white, even though it's like not theoretically as good as the other. It's not leading to a forced draw, so I prefer that. Basically, Luana using no time at 1200, playing the opening perfectly. Passive line, perfect move there. Also, queen b3. This is just a standard exchange variation where white is slightly set up with slightly wrong setup with the bishop on e2 instead of on d3. It's a little more active on d3. You would have a Bobby Fischer like exchange variation with the bishop on d3. A very minor detail. Suspect. Yeah. Well, they're 2800 in apparently Luana is 2800 in problem solving. Crazy, but who knows? Good in tactics. Panov is a positional mistake. Panov. I keep. Sometimes I pronounce it like lazily. It may sound like I'm saying Pano, and maybe I even like get tired and say that, but it's supposed to be Panov, and I said this once already. Maybe I'm having deja vu, but okay. So this is also a very sophisticated move for a young 1100, 1200. Remember that was that computer that used to play me all the time, guys? He was a cheater. A very strong bullet player who would come to my stream all the time. Eventually had to ban him as he was cheating. This is going back like over a year ago. I had to block him on multiple accounts. Not Tushar. No, it was another guy. Very strong bullet player. Way before Blobix started coming to the stream. But he used to play the exchange variation. Yes, yeah, Fonza Curry, exactly. So he used to play the exchange variation, but perfectly. You know, like we followed Gingy Karpov for like 18 moves or something. Basically, this is very similar. Way playing this as perfectly as you could play. He's 1200, right? Okay. Knight d7 now. Fond of Curry, yeah. He beat me in some games where it was apparent that he was cheating. He got banned on like 3 different accounts. Kept arguing that it wasn't, but it was ridiculous. Get that a lot. He had a lot of games, yeah. Well, I mean, he was totally mixing it up, you know. He wasn't clearly cheating every game, so it was hard to pin him down. But when he really wanted to, he would just beat you like a dog. When he got tired of losing, just cranked it up. That was 2 years ago, exactly. That's about how long. You've been hanging out with us, Bob. And he had multiple accounts. But this exchange, Carol Khan was one of his favorites because his opening repertoire was modeled after like the mid-90s Gingiashvili VHS opening repertoire, which was like the Someone on Sound System in the 2 Knights, the Accelerated Dragon, and then I actually have I had somewhere a disc that Gingy had given me. All these like systems. This was his 1996 era opening repertoire. The exchange variation against the Carol Khan was a big one, which I think is, you know, really unassuming. I'm gonna lose a piece here if I sleep anymore. Maybe rook a8. Gotta be careful. Save a dog's back. I'm named for a dead dog, and that is suspicious. Guys, thank you for support. It's a short week, just Friday and Sunday streams, but Bob donated 500, Asterbay 275, Warnaki 200. We had another. Someone on Sound with 1. Okay, now White suddenly, out of the blue, pulled the knight back because the knight is interfering with this f-pawn. Note, in many cases, your bishop gets trapped by f6 when you play f4 in said variation. This happened to many people in this line. My minority attack is strong now, so basically White played a great game, but now lost the initiative walking into this minority attack with no threats. If White played it a little more accurately, I'm still not without hope here for White, but bishop on d3 again instead of bishop on e2. He'd have to play a whole different move order to get to that position, though. Here's a nice move. Please identify the best game of the stream thus far. Well, I mean, obviously, there's some argument for Skaven Ingen's game. I kind of hate this capture, but the bishop, nevertheless, is really annoying on e5. Queen a3, knight c3, bishop a3, knight d5, bishop d6. Knight b6. So now we're just better positionally, but still not really your garden variety 1200. Very scary on time, particularly. I wonder what Luana's Blitz rating, bullet rating is. 1199. Damn, dude. Twice as fast as me. One day you saw him at Nilsa's stream. Wafanza Curry? Alright, we're winning a pawn now. Derndatch. Yeah, that was... I think for a while he like tried to claim that he was like two different people or something. No, I don't think that White is using a computer. Just knows the system well for White. Very well. I mean, White played great until the retreating move, knight d2. And then didn't know how to continue. But you need to have, I think the previous position, rook e1. At this point you need a knight maneuver. Knight f3 never should have been played. The f4 is the plan, but can you play f4 without getting your guy trapped? He was doing good, of course. You know, very reasonable and massively ahead on time. I don't think that makes him a computer. But he is ridiculously good for 1200. I mean, that's what makes it suspicious. If he was like 1700, I'd be like, okay, no problem, you know. But he's 1200. It's striking, you know. But this was weak, like knight d2 and knight b1. Bishop's too strong. It's over. Everyone plays like a master in the opening. More and more so. You know, people are amazingly good. I find the endgames are the... It's just shocking to me how well people can play and then just totally melt down in endgames. They could play like they're 2400 in the opening and middle game, and then it's just like a completely different player took over at the end. In the old days before the internet, I mean, that wasn't even possible practically. I mean, there might have been some Blitz players who played literally tens of thousands of games, like in a cafe or something, but for the most part, it was almost impossible to be good at every other stage, but just bad at the end game. End game is the hardest to master, and the primary reason for that is I think because you don't get a lot of games that are very close at your level for a long time. I mean, how often Astrobate did you play picking someone who's like 1500? Astrobate has like no rook end games against other people who they reach like pawn up or equal rook end games. That almost never happens until you reach a certain level when you're like 1800, and then you start getting a lot more of these games. Of course, it depends on your style, you know. It depends on your style. That was great opening by White though. Well played until move 20. Felix Duffy challenged me to 5-0, but I'm not playing rated 5-0. So if you want to re-challenge me to casual 5+3, I'd be willing to take your challenge. Someone on sound. You need to play a lot of endgames that are close. I think that's the key to getting good at endgames. You don't have to necessarily study endgame books. I mean, that's going to be a big help. But the key is to get a lot of practice at like close-ish endgames. Not ones where you're like down 3 pawns or up 3 pawns. I'm talking about endgames where it's really a very small margin, you know, between and close. Defending 1 pawn down, tight positions, or winning by a small margin. Rook end games a lot you need to play. For example, especially rook end games. Pawn end games, you know, they say you should begin, and it's true. Probably you should begin with the pawn end games. All right, someone on sound. I'm not accepting the Mora Gambit today. I'm bored with accepting the Mora Gambit. I'm just going to decline it and make you play the C3 Sicilian. We haven't really done this against someone on sound. So I'm curious to see what he's got here. I mean, obviously he's got something. Yeah, well, I mean, openings are at least important, but you should at least understand the principles. And I think White did fine opening there. Someone sound taken aback by my declining the Mora Gambit. Guys, on Sunday I'm doing my simul, usual schedule now. 31 viewers. Okay, so queen takes d4 is one specific variation. It's actually not the main line. I only had like 1 or 2 games in this variation ever. Because I don't play knight f6, c3 Sicilian very often. This is a position, one of the positions that Kasparov talks about in opening, what was it called? Revolution in the 70s or whatever. He wrote a book where he goes over the changes in opening theory in the 70s and 80s, and I think this particular position Kasparov actually touches on, where black has 2 moves here, d6 or f5. I had the one game where I played over the board, and I think I played, the one game I remember I played f5, but it seems like d6 is a little bit more solid. I had a game where I played f5, and I think my opponent might have played queen e2. And the position was really strange. It was like a German FM, a strong German FM. I think I played f5, he played queen e2, and I played like b6 and a5 and bishop a6. And he did like g3, bishop g2, like a King's Indian attack. It was a really irrational game. I had the feeling it ended in a draw, but I don't remember. It was 10 years ago. More than 10 years ago, I think. Time flies. But I played d6 this game. Knight to d2. r2 d2. Yeah, so what to do here? We take and trade pieces, I believe, without question. He takes back. Someone in sound knows his theory pretty much, what he plays. I don't know this line at all, because I don't really play. I thought about playing it for a while, but knight f6 against the c3 Sicilian, I had bad success. Lack of success, bad success. I had a lack of success the couple of times that I played it. But that's been my problem with black in the c3 Sicilian. My problem is that I kept switching systems. Every time I would play one game, lose, and play something new the next game. Not really a good way to approach opening preparation. Better to give it a little bit more of an effort, even if the first couple of games don't go well. I think you should stick to the same system, at least till you give it a fair chance. Bad success. Yeah. I have had some bad success changing my system against c3 too much. That's the problem. Okay, so here I was looking at how powerful this queen is. Just a monster. Queen b8. A little like Blobix playing against someone on sound. Like, he's a perfectly good endgame player, but another situation where I think I'm more comfortable playing the endgame. If you get a player like that, where you think you're a little stronger than them in the endgame, you can kind of use this sort of queen exchange, like threatening a queen exchange. I mean, Tal would probably not trade queens here with white, right? I mean, he would play queen h5. That's the only option, really, to avoid the queen exchange. But when you play queen h5, I mean, you are giving black a tempo, essentially, and you're taking pressure off of g7. This reminds me of the match that I was talking about earlier, Tal versus Botvinnik. Botvinnik would do this routinely. He would threaten to trade queens against Tal, get him to kind of back off. That may just be the best move here, though. So let's make someone on sound unhappy. Let's make him unhappy. Let's force him to play without pieces to attack me with. A slight concession, but I like double G pawns. Excuse me, F pawns. Those are F pawns. Some dynamism there. Queen f3 played very quickly. So this was instantly played as a means for like avoiding an exchange of queens, I think. I guess the point of queen f3 was to avoid queen e5 check trading queens. Technically, white is better in this endgame. He's got a 3-on-2 queenside majority in the healthier pawns. So there are a lot of players who would happily trade queens with white. And they probably would be correct to do so, like queen e3 here. Though the circumstances are important. Castle's queenside. I don't want an adventurous move here. I'm lucky that bishop b5 doesn't work. Bishop b5, queen b7. Bishop b5, queen b7, rook b8. I don't know if he checked that. Again, he's like avoiding exchanging queens almost systematically. Bishop c5. It reminds me of when my friend Dragon Kosic was playing this. I've told this story before, but attacking woman grandmaster who just loved to play for tactics. She was kind of weak in positional play and endgame, but very strong in tactics. Kosic was just like, trade 2 pieces and you'll have no problem. I never thought of chess in that way. You know, I never ever literally like looked at an opponent and said, I'm going to try to trade 2 pieces in the opening against this player. I never thought of it in that way, you know, and when he said that, I was like, oh, it's an interesting concept. He's just completely basing his whole approach to a certain opponent on just a plan of simply trading 2 pieces. I mean, that's kind of cool. So we forced Sound on Sound a little bit on the defensive by offering these queen trades. But now we have to think. Thinking is good. Think about where our king should be. Rook d4 is just a mega annoying move. I'm seeing that. Don't ever move the queen more than once. Just kidding, guys. Don't keep moving the queen around. It's a very bad idea. In my town, no one plays chess. That is a problem, but you've got the internet, man. I mean, you're lucky. What would you do like 30 years ago? You can become a strong chess player from Alaska or crazy remote places now. It's amazing. You're from Brazil, right? I had a student who was from fairly northern part of Brazil where it was like somewhat remote. It's near Rio. Okay. So here, I want to be able to play e5. That's my main plan. Systematically trading pieces to just take the love of attacking out of the game. Take the fun out of the game. Chess vampire. But Someone on Sound is hanging tough. He's a tough guy. It's a scary dude. Alright. Oh my god, I just missed mate in 1. Alright, whatever. Mate in 1. You guys saw it first. I'm demoted. But at least I saw it at all. That's what I get for not playing for 5 days. I couldn't believe he would allow mate in 1, first of all. It didn't even enter my radar because it was just so impossible. So, and now I'm having concrete hallucinations that my queen can actually move to a4. That's how messed up I am. That's not a good sign. I think just I didn't eat enough today. As I said, I had Pop-Tarts and burrito. Microwave burrito and Pop-Tarts was my food intake for today. So I think the system is running a little bit empty. That's explaining my missing maiden one. Lack of nutrition. Definitely. That's the excuse, the chosen excuse for today. What are we going to do with you, buddy? Man, I like this minority attack here. B5, B4. Cagey. Going for the tactics, look at that. So just F5. He's got Queen H4 check. I totally forgot. It's alright. It's not a big deal. I have F6. It's not a big deal. Watch out for tactics with this guy. He's extremely tricky. S6 is almost forced. Oh no. Here it comes. Worst move I ever played. That was like the worst move of my life. Another bad move. Oh my god. I mean, what would King Crusher do now? Would he like... This is the most humiliating game I ever played. I missed mate in 1, and then I blundered a mate in 1 in the same game in a series of like 10 moves. I mean, that is... I'm just gonna like quit chess, I think. That is seriously the worst thing I ever did, I think, in chess. This disgrace. That is the biggest disgrace of my online chess career. It's unbelievable. How could this happen? He's actually... Man, he's beaten me the last 2 games. That is embarrassing. How could I not see Queen D8? I can't believe you had this, by the way. That's sitting there, that mate on D8. It's like... Obviously, I can draw at will if I want to, by just repeating with my rook. Check. Going back to F8. But it's overconfidence. Man. I am so humiliated. I'm sorry, guys. So, like this position, the engine says it's equal. Rook F8. I did not want to accept a draw. Gleitzen. What's up? So I also... Yeah, I mean, I just was unwilling to draw. This is a problem psychologically, you know. When you just make up your mind that you just refuse to have a draw because you were winning before. And I was never right since I missed the mate in 1. You know, I was like feeling bad psychologically. And this is ridiculous. God, how did I not see mate in 1? My move is not bad, but it's not as good as mate in 1. It's like not even the second best move, actually. Queen D5 apparently was better than mate in 1. Alright, man. I want this game banned from my life forever. That is embarrassing. Alright, Felix, thanks for re-challenging. But I don't know if I could play anymore, seriously, after that. That's just... Normally I don't rant and get upset, but... I mean, come on now. Now I've got more... I should blunder more often. I don't know what to say. I'm just ashamed. I managed to blunder my own mate in one and missed mate in one for the opponent within 10 moves in the same game. Earlier, Bob said I should be demoted to NM for the first blunder. Like, what would you do after the second blunder? I'm blaming it on the lack of nutrition today. That was the first game I lost in a while on here. I have been pretty good last week, but someone on sound is KG, very good in tactics. I had the perfect position against him, sucked the life out of the game perfectly like a vampire. He just kept making like his position worse and worse every time he avoided trading queens, to the point where it was like lost, and I missed main in one. Oh man. But I mean, that's how we can work on someone on sound's aspect of the game. I mean, I'm not doing this for myself. I mean, I'm trying to help you guys get better. Obviously, I can learn to not blunder mate in one. That's great, but that's not the point. How can we improve someone on sound's game? He got like a lost position, but I think he's too afraid to go into an end game. I mean, he's making little concessions, like to avoid trading queens, like too hard. You know, I mean, he could have had a slightly better end game, traded queens into a better end game, and I think he should just do that. You know, instead, he risked getting a bad position. But anyway, I'm just trying to detract from the fact that I missed mate in one. All right, let's try what to do here. This is annoying. Bishop d2, really weird move. I just want to get my pawn back, but if I play queen c7, he has b4, which is unfortunate for me. I think. Queen c7, b4, knight to d5, knight to d4. We even have to calculate. Very strange lines here. That is a bizarre line, and I'm not crazy about it. It's like a reverse Rati. Knight a6 also not that bad, but reverse Catalan as well. I just didn't feel good, you know, after I missed the mate in one. I mean, it's humiliating and hard to concentrate. I mean, I saw it like right after I didn't play it, but that's upsetting. You know, that's really bad. When you've been playing chess for like 35 years, I mean, if you don't see mate in one, there's something wrong. Anyway, we'll try not to let it ruin our lives. I'm gonna try this experimental variation. Standard move. He just doesn't test me here. I mean, really, he's got to test me with b4. Anyway, I was seriously looking at b4, knight to d5, knight to d4, knight f4, and not convinced that it was really anything for black. But I figured I'd give it a shot. Here I'm getting the pawn back with no fight, and an h3 is not a very positive move for white. When Fischer blundered a bishop, are we referring to this game with Spassky where he got his bishop trapped on a2 or whatever? I mean, b6 is a very normal pawn sacrifice. You know, that might be what I should do, actually, after b4. Just play b6. I do this all the time with white in the Catalan or Rati. This is too passive for white, though. If you play bishop d2, the basic idea is to counter my fianchetto on the diagonal. One way or another, either b4 followed by bishop c3 or just bishop c3, but I think c3 and bishop d2 are bad. Now white has a bad position. Well, relatively worse position than he should. This doesn't mix, you know, c3 and bishop d2 do not mix. Unless you can play like b4. No, even then. I mean, I just don't think that it works. The point is to play bishop d2, bishop c3. counter the fianchetto guy. Or girl, as it were. You saw both. That's... Oftentimes, you know, it's painful, but the spectators seem to see more than the actual players. Because you're sitting back, you're like objective, you're relaxed. You're not upset about the last blunder you made. You can just look at it in a detached way, and you're like, oh my god, how can an internationally titled player not see mate in one? My instincts, my spider senses were there. They were just a little bit late. Sometimes you just give people credit. I had a funny game that one of my students played. And this guy was a former NM. He had got to over 2200 USCF. He had a game against a guy at the chess club in Boston about 6 months ago. This is a 1900 against a 2100, where, I mean, one side could just like check on a5 and take a piece or something like that. And this is like on move 7. Move 7, it's like check and take, check and take. Check on a5 and take a piece. Neither side saw it. Once I had a team match where one of my teammates, who was around 2000, was playing another player who was, these are FIDE 2000 players, and I was standing there watching while one literally hung his queen and the other guy didn't see it. I mean, their average rating is like 2000 FIDE. It's just a psychological blank spot. You know, the opponent blunders the queen and you don't believe it. It's even possible. So you just don't, you know, you don't even consider that it could be a possibility that a player would. It's just not there, you know. Let's try knight a6. Is this a mistake? No, this is good. You didn't see the mate in one. Yeah, Arsenal seemed to have improved, but Felix blundered big time. So knight e4, double attack. Not sure that's even the best move. I'm too tired to calculate other variations. You made 50 tactics puzzles. It's good. Good exercise. Very good exercise. Bishop b2. It's kind of a funny move. Bishop e2, bishop e4, bishop a1. I don't think it works, though. I should just take here. Don't be fancy. There's no reason for fancy moves. I not only troll people and like humiliate them if they're trolling me, so I mean, I've had tournament games where I made fancy moves on purpose to be like a jerk, but I would only do that if somebody was incorrect with me, you know, in the game. People who don't resign when they're down like 3 pieces, that kind of stuff. I would never do that here. This doesn't work. All right, this is a great move by white, by the way, on a practical level. I mean, I know it's not a big deal, but I like this concept of sacking in exchange to create some sort of dynamism in a position where white was like lifeless. At that point, it doesn't matter if he's down in exchange or whatever, you know. Bishop d4 is sort of technically a mistake, but I think at least shows that he wants to create a little bit of an imbalance trying to offer that exchange. So this is just technically winning for black. 2 pawns up. No, it's 3. 3 pawns up. No chance of hanging mate in 1, I hope. Fancy move syndrome. Keep it simple when you're up material. The opposite of what Felix should be doing. Felix wants to create complexity, and I want to create the opposite of complexity, simplicity. When you're up material here, be greedy when you're up 3 pawns. Not really a good idea. Acerby, would you take that pawn on a2? Or would you try to trade rooks? Honestly. Would you take the pawn on a2? Oh, here I'm winning a piece, incidentally, but the principle is to trade pieces when you're up material. Don't create complications when you're winning, you know. You create complications when you have a hopelessly lost position or something of that sort. I had a friend, and I've told the story, as like many of my stories. My friend's joke about my play was that I would play for unclear rather than slightly better, something like that. I was hoping to mate white here, but unfortunately the fastest way to mate is to get a queen. Nothing elegant about this. Okay, guys, there's time for one last game. 285 games. And it's 5 plus 3. All right. This is an alt account, I guess. All right. I'm not promising a good game here because I'm blundering mates in one, but I hate this. No, we can't be allowing like bishop e5, and I don't like the Grand Prix attack as well, but I can handle the Grand Prix attack. What I really don't want is like knight c3, knight c6, bishop b5. That system's been plaguing me for a while. Jim, thanks for donations, man. So this is just the closed Sicilian. Suvik, one of our viewers from India, who's not Tushar, plays the system. It's like a kind of quiet, old school Smyslov closed Sicilian. I actually played this way with Josh Whiteskin in a game in 1991 with the white pieces. I drew Whiteskin when I was much lower rated. I was like 2200 and he was like 24. And he was pissed, but sportsmanlike about it. But I remember a distinctive thing of the game was there was an endgame where he had like rook and bishop against rook. And I was kind of insulted. I take it back. It was rook and bishop? No. It had to be rook and knight against rook, because otherwise he really would have played it out. It was like rook and knight against rook, I guess. And he didn't take it too far. He didn't try like for hours to try to beat me with rook and knight against rook, which was normal. I was kind of pissed though. Jim, not the game against Waitskin is the Chessmaster series annotated. This was a different game. We played twice. The first time we played, the second one in Chessmaster I beat him, but the first one was a draw. And I was white in a closed Sicilian, ironically. I played the closed Sicilian like twice in my life. Once against Waitskin and once against Satovsky. I think that's about it. I played the Grand Prix attack a few times, but the proper closed Sicilian, maybe like twice. Well, I mean, the guy was pretty egotistical. He probably considered most people as inferior players, honestly. But I don't think he's a bad guy. You know, he was like a chess prodigy. He was, better than most of his opponents. But I was, yeah, no, I mean, I'm not surprised by that, honestly. So a4, knight d4, bishop d4, pawn d4, knight b5. This is an interesting question. But he was an extremely coddled and successful prodigy, so if he was egotistical, it wouldn't be surprising. He was always okay in person. But he has 2 chances to beat me and never did, so I don't think he has much to say there. Queen b6. He has the same score as Big Ed. 1 draw and 1 loss. f4 closed Sicilian in effect here. Normally white never wants to give up the dark square bishop, but I made a little bit in the way of concessions here. It's a famous guy because he was one of the best rated prodigies in the United States, nearly became a grandmaster, and the most famous thing about him is that they based a movie a lot about his father wrote a book about chess and his adventure, and it was a movie in the mid-90s called Searching for Bobby Fischer. You can find it. It's worth watching. But we just thought it was funny because he has a game in the Chessmaster PC program where he loses to me. I've never watched it like to see what he said, but he probably is like a little bit condescending or something. All right. Anyways, guys, we're wrapping up the stream. Pressure against my d4 pawn. But I like black here. Maybe f5 is worth considering. You never want to let white play f5 favorably in such situations. He says that I didn't believe he was better than me. Well, he was higher rated. I mean, what can I say? That tournament, I almost made a GM norm. Lost one. Very unfortunate game. I finished second. Knight d2 castles. Actually, he quit chess shortly after that event. The next year, I guess, pretty soon. That was one of his last tournaments, probably. I guess it was me. Knight f3, pressure on the d4 pawn. All right. So, Wesley, what are we going to do here? You're beating your boss in chess. Today I caught him watching. Oh, you caught him trying to. How to beat your boss at chess. There's a book like How to Beat Your Dad at Chess. Expanded version. How to beat your boss. How to beat your wife at chess. Politically incorrect. All right. Maybe we should use a different word. How to defeat your wife in chess. F5. The Urasov Gambit? What? Hey, William. How are you? I like panda bears. There are 2 new panda bear babies born here in Belgium today. Oh, that's cool. Panda is one of our fixtures in my stream, and it's kind of a joke because I live in Hungary a great part of the year, and Hungarians say panda. They don't say like an American like panda. They say panda, and I guess a lot of European countries pronounce it like that. And when I heard that, I thought, you know, it's funny because pandas are black and white, right? The perfect chess animal. And secondly, it sounds like panda. So that's the story of how panda came to be, more or less. But panda is actually in Budapest. This is a panda substitute. Original panda. This is macro panda. He's just a filler. Chess for Zebras. Jonathan Rowson wrote Chess for Zebras, but perhaps we should try to write Chess for Pandas. Alright. The Dvoretsky recapture. Mark said in the closed Sicilian structure, you're supposed to take the opposite way of the way that white takes. So if white takes away, you take with the g-pawn toward the center. If he has a g-pawn on g4, he takes toward the center, we take away. I don't know if that applies in every situation, but All right. Good center. Very solid center here. Would make a good book, Chess for Pandas. It feels like I'm copying Jonathan Rafson if I did that, though. You know, it would be almost like copyright infringement, just totally stealing his idea. And I like John, and I don't know. I'd like to come up with something a little more original. Okay, knight b3. Will we try to steal the A file here? I don't think I can do that. It's not so easy. So we're at a little bit of a standstill right now. I like black. I think black's a little bit better, but how can we make progress? Chess for cows. Man, how do we make progress here? I wish I wasn't so tired. This is so hard. At least I can't blunder mate in 1 in this game. Rook a8. Rook a8 loses pawn. Rook 8, knight d4. Yep, that's not good. All right, looking for Bobby Fischer. Searching for the C file. Precautions must be taken here. Chess for Dalmatians. All different black and white animals, right? So he's defending c2. Also increasing, or potentially increasing, pressure against e6. I'd love to play e5, and it's definitely possible, but if you're wondering why I'm not doing that, it's really because of this knight landing on c5. I like maybe b4. Searching for cheap tactics. If I can pile up the pressure. Also, this is taken away from him now, so I really can play e5. No, I take it back. Now I can't play e5 because I don't have enough protection. Alright, so rook c8, rook c8, rook c8, rook c8, or rook a8, rook c8. Ooh, he does have that. I don't know what I expected him to play. I mean, that move is almost forced. Alright, well, we're rolling. Rolling with rooks. Fluid. Everything's okay. H4, okay. That weakens his G file. And had another idea. What was it? What was my other idea, guys? Quick, tell me. Because I can't remember. I cannot remember. My other idea was, and I'm going to lose on time. Maybe it was this. Knight A1. There it is. Visitors from another planet. He does have knight g5 now. Missed it in time pressure. Not enough. Not enough here for white. Survive. Dominate the night. All right, thank you for the game, guys. Thank you for the games. Lucky I kept together. Lost a bad one today. Oh man, I'm not gonna sleep. We had the brutal made in one game. That's the one that I'm gonna keep with me for the rest of my life. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks, Mr. Coffee, for being a mod. We're getting back to the schedule. It's Sunday simul. It's gonna be 5:30 p.m. on Sunday. 25 players. Ignoring white moves is usually not a good strategy, but in this case it was okay. Again, guys, simul on Sunday. Thanks, Mr. Coffee, for being here, and thanks for coming back, all of my loyal friends. Next week we'll be back to usual Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Sunday streams. All right. I will see you guys then. Thanks everybody for turning up, and again, Sunday simul, back to normal on Monday. I will see you guys. Take care. And from the Panda here, just explaining his significance. This is Macro Panda, but original Panda in Budapest. We'll get back to him in a few months. Bye-bye. All right, guys. Take care. Have a good one.